and hello again and welcome to America Can We Talk and to today's First Five. I'm Debbie Georgatos. Well, we had our last show last week on Thursday, and as everyone pretty much in the world has heard, President Trump and the First Lady were diagnosed as positive when they were tested, as they routinely are, for coronavirus. So we've had quite a weekend of adventure of the president moving over to Walter Reed Hospital in order to, just as a matter of caution or precaution. So he's been functioning there pretty much normally, working and giving short press conferences. But I wanted to talk about this Trump's COVID crowds thing, and really in the context of moving forward in America, what this whole episode really might mean for President Trump and for America going through his now getting a positive test, a coronavirus test. To start with, the idea that the president is at Walter Reed Hospital in the presidential suite, which is a lovely, if you saw in the news, very large, very lovely area. He's working away. He is talking to reporters, issuing statements. He's really just conducting himself as president, even though he is right now under the quarantine with coronavirus. He's moving forward, acting like a president in many ways, including, I did not send this to, and by the way, we don't have Matt the Wonderful today. It's amazing. We're doing the show without Matt the Wonderful, but we have Derek, the also wonderful, who is helping out today. And so I wanted to just hit a couple of things about this coronavirus story in today's First Five. Number one, there is a great tribute to President Trump's just upbeat, positive, hardworking mode that he's going ahead and functioning very, very well. His chief of staff had announced, former Congressman Mark Meadows had announced the president might be returning to the White House today on Monday. He hasn't, as the time we've gone to start the show today, he hasn't been released from the hospital, but he is very active, very healthy, and doing very well, and just kind of working through it in the way probably many of you recall when you were growing up and you had a cold or a little bit of a stomach bug. And there's a lot of the attitude of kind of just work through it. Don't just surrender and lie down in bed for a week, kind of work through it, but take care of yourself. So he's getting regular attention from doctors. He has frequent reports are being made to the public by the doctors treating him at Walter Reed, and he's functioning perfectly well as president. So one thing I want to do is quick play a short clip I sent to Derek. This is one of the doctors. There was a lengthy report being given, a press conference by the doctors at Walter Reed treating President Trump. This is one short clip I want to play for you. This was from yesterday's news conference from the doctors outside Walter Reed.
Regarding his clinical status, the patient continues to improve. He has remained without fever since Friday morning. His vital signs are stable. From a pulmonary standpoint, he remains on room air this morning and is not complaining of shortness of breath or other significant respiratory symptoms. He's ambulating himself, walking around the White House Medical Unit without limitation or disability. Our continued monitoring of his cardiac, liver, and kidney function demonstrates continued normal findings or improving findings.
What I loved about that guy, in fact, all the doctors were doing this. They would start off by saying, what an honor it is for us to be here at Walter Reed Hospital treating the president. We're very grateful to be here, very positive. You just saw each of them as they stepped up, just voluntarily, apparently voluntarily saying, it's just such an honor, a privilege. We're happy to be here. We're happy to be treating the president. Very upbeat. Several of them indicating, he's in good spirits. I always have to smile when the doctors use terms like self-ambulating. Then he goes, he's walking around on his own, which is all they really meant. But there's a strength in President Trump that is evident in the way he's handling even this. He follows the doctor's instructions, he shows up at the hospital, and he's still conducting himself as president. I did not send all these tweets. President Trump has been tweeting from the hospital, and it's just a beautiful thing about his spunk, his spirit, his determination. So while in the hospital with coronavirus, and as you heard the doctor say, fever's gone, he's walking around, he's doing very well. In fact, as I say, his chief of staff had suggested he might even get released today. But even while he's in the hospital, President Trump is tweeting things. There was a series of tweets, just single sentence tweets. Fight the corrupt fake news media, vote. Protect pre-existing conditions, vote. Better and cheaper health care, vote. Pro-life, vote. Massive regulation cuts, vote. Space Force, vote. Best VA ever, 91% approval rating, vote. He has 401k, vote. Biggest tax cuts ever, and another one coming soon, vote. I love this spirit. This is a man who says, I am president, I'm doing my job, and I'm going to listen to the doctors and do what they say. You know, I'm letting them take care of me here. But he's still on the mission about preserving America. And he understands exactly what's happened. He is through these tweets, of course, signaling to America. He's right on top of his game, wide awake, right on top of his game. There's a lot of controversy being in discussion about the question of why all of a sudden so many very top officials inside President Trump's inner circle have now all been diagnosed or have had tests and tested positive for coronavirus. There's some speculation. Why is it that all of a sudden, here we are a month before the election of November 2020, and we have all these top figures in the Trump White House testing positive for coronavirus, and of course, then they have to self-quarantine, they have to take care of themselves. I don't know if there's anything to the conspiracy theory that maybe this was somehow intentional, that all these people came down with coronavirus at the same time. But even if it was, it's already backfiring, because what the American people see out of President Trump is a man who is strong, he is tough, he does not want to have the coddling, sympathetic tone, and it increases the American people's perception. This is a strong leader. This is a guy who's going to work through this and get rolling. We'll talk later, I guess, more if there's more information that comes out about all the various figures surrounding the president who have been diagnosed or have gotten a positive test for coronavirus. But you don't see the flailing and moaning. You see people tough and still trying to do their jobs and take care of themselves. I don't know what exactly is going to happen with the White House press secretary. She announced that she had tested positive. I'm not sure what she's going to happen. What she's going to do, but many, including her and also the First Lady, have said, tested positive, feeling great, mild symptoms, no big deal, nothing getting worse, I'm doing fine. Which I really think is going to be a great thing, because part of what the American people will see out of this is that it begins to more and more expose how much we in America have overreacted to the coronavirus, how much we in America have allowed the coronavirus to shut down our country, shut down our businesses, cause people to lose businesses they had dedicated decades of their lives in building, cause families to lose homes, jobs, businesses, the entire fabric of American culture and people functioning normally in society. All of that's been shut down since whatever you count as the beginning, March or so. And what you're now going to see coming out of Washington is all these people testing positive and all, doing whatever they're supposed to do according to the doctors and still functioning and giving living proof to the American people that we have overreacted to the coronavirus. We have been played. We have been played by those who are using this virus to push the leftist agenda, which is always and only what they're trying to do, which is to push the leftist agenda to somehow control the American people, to suppress the economy that President Trump built during the first 3 years while he was serving as our president, to repress the spirit of the American people, to dampen the joy and opportunity and hope of the American culture. All of that was the goal of those who overreacted to the coronavirus, who engaged in the ongoing shutdown. I actually think the American people are going to emerge stronger as a result of this. And one other quick point in closing out today's First Five. There are people saying that the president would probably emerge from this, and the term that became kind of trendy to say was he'll be more humble. I don't buy that. And I want to tell you why I say that. When people are saying, well, I guess it's kind of like guess we showed him, guess he now, and he says something like, now this is kind of going about Trump is saying, yeah, it's kind of like I'm going to school, learning about this virus. Now, the real school, I'm going through it. But the idea of being humbled is what the left is trying to say, that they want him to take the virus more seriously, to be on board with the ongoing shutdown of America, to not give any credence to all of these tremendous therapies that are out there that doctors are using that are causing people to experience coronavirus without serious and long-term difficulties. We have treatments and therapies being offered by doctors around the country that are very successful. And when the left says they hope Trump emerges more humbled, what they mean is they hope he emerges more fearful and will continue to go along with their effort to shut down American society. Trump is not going to be humbled in that way. Trump may be more able to relate to the Americans who've gone through the virus or have lost loved ones, to say, yes, it was a tough thing, but I think America is going to emerge stronger, and he's going to emerge stronger. My hope is that President Trump emerges from this recognizing we have plenty of therapies that are working well, therapies he must have been told about from his advisors, therapies that are going to allow him to get through this, that allowed, as we talked about on the show before, Congressman Gohmert got through with the treatments and therapies he was using. I think is going to help President Trump recognize we don't have to play along with the leftist shutdown America agenda, and we certainly don't have to play along with it until the famous vaccine, whenever it is finally ready, is developed. Because this is my biggest hope out of this episode with the president, is he realizes we don't have to continue any sort of repression of the American people, repression of the economy, until we can have this vaccine come forward. America can get back on its feet now. America can get back on its feet economically, business-wise, and culturally. We can get rid of all of this unnecessary induced repression of the American people and come back stronger. That's the lesson I hope that President Trump really emerges with. It's not humbled, it's emboldened to come back and bring America back past this virus, past this shutdown that this virus has brought to America. I love his spirit. I will tell you that, and speaking of President Trump's spirit, Rudy Giuliani, who is President Trump's longtime friend and his personal lawyer, also spoke to the president and had a quick little clip I asked Derek to be ready to play. This is Rudy Giuliani describing his conversation with President Trump.
We had about a 35, 40-minute conversation. Some of it, of course, about his health. I was very concerned about him. I was very happy to hear his voice sounding exactly the same as I've known it for 30 years. And then after we talked about his health, we started to talk about politics. And he gave me a lot of notes to give to the campaign about what they should do and how they should do it, and even wrote out a kind of speech. I had to kind of get him off the phone, so we went back and rested. And he did say that he'd love to get out as quickly as possible. He feels like he'd go out now. He said he felt.
So you got to love this. This is Giuliani basically saying he sounds like himself. I love that. Closing out the first five, I'll just say this. I am very, very, I wish no one ever got the coronavirus. I wish COVID-19 had never come here. I hope very much that we have the American government figure out what happened in China, who's responsible, whether it was deliberate or mistaken. I hope we get to the bottom of all of it. But we in America have been repressed. Our economy, our society, our people, our very functioning in America has been, and we've had an exaggerated response to the coronavirus, mostly in the hands of the Democrat governors in this country who saw an opportunity to dampen the economy, dampen the economic success in their states, to dampen the spirit of the American people, to shut down Trump rallies, shut down normal communication, shut down life. All of this an exaggerated response to a virus which the CDC has acknowledged as of last week, over 99% of every age group survives the virus. We are not talking, this is not the bubonic plague. This is not people dropping in the streets. This was a novel virus. It was alarming in the beginning. We had unfamiliarity with how to deal with it. We had deaths, almost all occurring in a population who already had pre-existing conditions such as obesity, diabetes, some sort of immune deficiency. People who already have pre-existing conditions were more vulnerable to it. But we as a country overreacted, and when the left figured out that we could overreact, they could find a way to keep our economy repressed. They jumped on, they kept it up. Particularly, I'll give a quick note, in Michigan, you've now had the Michigan Supreme Court tell Governor, I almost want to think of a name for her, Governor Cruella DeVille, Governor Whitmer, who has just been the most among almost all the states, the most repressive, the most demanding, the most shut down, the most punishing of anyone who won't go along with every single one of her orders. She's been told by the Supreme Court of Michigan that her orders related to COVID-19 are unconstitutional under the Constitution of the state of Michigan. And she's still saying, doesn't care what the court says, she still wants to find a way to continue her shutdown. So I'm telling you folks, the goal, the beauty of all this, I don't wish anyone ever contract coronavirus. I would love to have the thing gone out of our country. I would love to have everybody healthy. But a good outcome for America out of this experience of President Trump and the President Trump and Melania Trump and other numerous high officials in the Trump administration coming into contact, testing positive coronavirus, is going to be living proof in the eyes of the American people that we have overreacted, that we have treatments available, therapies available that are working, and we do not have to keep the American people shut down for the foreseeable future. Time to re-engage America, wake America up, get the economy rolling again. That's what the outcome and lesson can be from this experience. And that, my very fine friends, is today's First Five.